You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Aline, the co-author of the books Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors and The Best Known Roofer. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the leading digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I sit down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Can you do me a favor? Hit that like button, share, subscribe, wherever you're at, right? If you have the opportunity, write us a little review or a comment. That would be very helpful. We would appreciate it. If you want to take the conversation beyond the listening to the show here, go to Facebook, type in Roofing Success, join the Roofing Success Facebook group. Also follow us on Instagram at Roofing Success, Roofer Marketers on Instagram. Also, we post a lot of good clips of the show on there. So today we're here with Stephen Ragsdale of Blacksmith Roofing. How are you today, man? Awesome. So, we talked a little while ago, and we were just talking that you guys were hanging out at our booth at the IRE and doing our competitions and stuff like that. Yeah. How did what brought you to the roofing industry?
Man, I got in about 10 years ago. We decided I moved from Missouri to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and after a career change, looking for something to do, and ran into a buddy of mine that was in the roofing world. And I said, you know what, I think I can give that a shot. And it's worked out for us these past 10 years.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Awesome. And so was the company founded then, or did you, you guys founded 2017, I think?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We founded in 2017. We were part of a good company that just, got hit with most of the roofing stuff that you hear about and just wanted out. And so we were able to bring the crews over here and the sales guys and everything followed. So we got our new brand, but it feels like the same company,
So you guys been a Jerry Maguire.
That's it. That's right.
Who's coming with me? That's all right, man. That's awesome. So things happened at the old company, kind of rebrand, reestablish, and now, you guys have been off and running since, right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, being down in that Broken Arrow area, Tulsa area, what's the focus? I mean, it's storm damage restoration. Are you guys full retail, full residential? Do you do a mix of commercial residential? What do you do on that front?
Man, we do, most of our work is still insurance work. We don't have the hailstorms that you might get in your Texas areas or even Norman, Oklahoma, different areas like that. But we get enough storms that kind of keep us going. But, been a couple years since we've had a real bad hailstorm. So we've done a lot of retail sales, which is great. You kind of have to make that transition so that if you do have those off years of no storms, you can just keep going at the same capacity that you were. So, we haven't had to door knock in 6 or 7 years. Everything's been referral based. So everything we do is 100% referral, which makes it nice. It's a lot warmer leads than cold. So we are primarily residential. We do have a great partnership on the commercial side, but we've just found our niche, and it's hail-resistant shingles in the residential world, and it's really hit off for us.
Yeah. So what, that is I guess it's a newer product offering to the marketplace, right? Sure. So how have you been able to distinguish that in the sales process? For
the hail-resistant shingles, you mean? Yeah. Man, we honestly will build an estimate that you normally would see, maybe old school, roofing sales, whatever, might be those 3-tab starter and ridges, right? And so we'll build an estimate how we know most of our competitors are looking, and then we build an estimate with the hail-resistant shingle. And, if you do enough of these, you get it to a point where with all your local distributors, they're giving you a little bit of a break. So it's not a terrible upcharge or anything like that. We've been very focused on giving the hail-resistant shingle. We'd make the same amount whether they went with the cheaper bid or the more expensive. We kind of just sell the quality on it. And then that just brings you, more business through the door. So we'll show the comparative, and then, that messy thing of topic of warranties, we'll talk about the difference with that, which kind of just gives us an opportunity to kind of teach the homeowners on that. And it kind of sells itself really with the insurance premium discounts along with it. Yeah.
Yeah. That, it's definitely a great thing to do. And you're doing it. Here's another thing that I think makes me think that it's something unique that you guys are doing. Is you said, hey, we haven't had a lot of storms. We're doing this retail focus, but we are in a storm damage market. There will be storms that come through over the next decade or so. So let's have that conversation and with the homeowner of what might be the best product to have on their home for the long run.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah.
And it honestly keeps, because we are going to get enough hailstorms to make people door knock, right? We're going to get enough to make people to try to make that case. So whenever you have a hail resistant shingle, especially with the size of hail that we normally get here, on typical average, I'd say we get an inch and a quarter, maybe an inch and a half here and there. And then we get those surprises every 3 years of the big stuff, And so for us, if we got a hail resistant shingle that's saying it'll hold up to that, it kind of really cuts off the door knocking. If they come up to the door, like, I got hail resistant shingle, we're good to go, and they like the aspect of that.
Yeah. So, and then you're playing defense a little bit down the road. Is then maybe if they do find damage, it's we better call Blacksmith.
That's it.
Right?
Absolutely, because they're looking to make sure that it's not a warranty claim, with their shingle. But then if it's not, then we know it's bigger than what was on the package. Okay, we got to file another claim.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So in the transition, from the old company and establishing the new company, there's always things that you're like, man, we could do this better or that better, right? What were some of those things that you made early on, decisions you made early on that, we were doing all right here.
Yeah.
With the company we were at, it doesn't sound like you were too upset with them.
No. Great company.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So you're not, it wasn't like they weren't paying you guys, or wasn't the, stuff like that made you, or that they were doing faulty work and trying to pass it off and to the homeowner. And so being that you're working for a good company, but I would guess, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And so when you two started Blacksmith, what were a couple of the things that you thought, these are the 1 or 2, 3 things that we want to focus on to make this even better?
Right. Sure. Well, the biggest thing that we've seen missing in the industry of board is, communication, or even just system and processes with CRM systems, and just having all available documentation on anything you've sold or anything that you're looking to trying to keep leads in rotation. So, Preston Davis, my business partner, lucky to have him on my side, met him through this whole transition. And I wish he could have been here today, because he's a brighter person than I am even. But no, when we came over to this one, I will say we did not leave on ill will. Old company was great. There's just some things that transpired that this was an opportunity for us. And so I would say, to answer your question though, on what things that we saw that we want to be better, we knew we wanted to show up. And, everybody here coming in the industry is like, we're changing the industry. Like, okay, what are you doing? And so for us, it's like, as silly as it sounds, showing up is huge. Communication. And we said, and we made a statement that if we screw up, we're going to fix it. And I think that's the biggest mark that's missed on a lot of repeat business in this industry, is not answering the phone after you sold the job. So besides the hail resistant shingle, we said we're going to make it a point that where we sell this niche, the higher end, we're going to be the target to the Walmart market, right? So we're going to make sure that we're selling a hail resistant shingle. We went ahead and invested in a higher CRM system. So we went with AccuLinks. Shout out to them. They have been great. They're more expensive on the market, but I'm telling you, the availability and everything that's available, if you want a good product and you want to be the higher end market, you got to pay for the products to help you support that. So a long-winded version of it is we just said that we keep our word and be available by phone even after the sell of the job, because in construction, you can't be perfect. You're going to screw up, but you got to be willing to go back and fix it.
So how have you put that process together, right? Sure. You said, we want to show up. That's a statement that, we want to be there for, I'm assuming, making, inferences you want to be there for the customer through the long haul. You're going to be the trusted provider. Who's responsible for answering that phone when that if that homeowner calls 2 years from now?
Sure.
Like, are you putting that back on the sales rep to make sure that they're the most communicative?
Sure.
Does that go back to the company? How have you guys structured that?
So we have put it on the sales guys. I will say we've really switched. Our processes really are different. I think when you say you're changing the industry, you got to change it within the company, not for how you're selling a job. So for us, we actually got really administrative strong. So we spent more of our money like on the systems, the CRM system, the marketing. And then we have our office manager, Victoria. She answers all the phone calls, and then she is very good about making sure that she inputs everything accurately into AccuLinks, which has built-in reminders, has built-in, lead processing, the whole timeline. So yes, I would say you got to have the sales guys. And when we would do training with sales guys and stuff, we'd say, hey, put it on your calendar every 2 days, that person you talk to. If you left them a voicemail, or if you did meet with them and gave them an estimate, let's follow up. I know it's a little extra work, but that's what we're here to do, is sell jobs, So our CRM system and our office manager do a great job of making sure those processes don't get missed. But it really comes down to how bad you want it. And, we're in a point where, like I said, Preston and I sell most of all the jobs. We hired more production management, more like what we call inspectors. They don't really sell the homeowner. We went administrative. That's kind of how we went different. We talk to probably 98% of our customers. We really don't miss the mark on getting in face-to-face, at least an opportunity.
Yeah. And how do you feel that response is? I know a lot of homeowners, when you tell them you're the owner,
sure,
there's a different level of I don't know if they have a different level of trust with you, because they feel like you're not only you're in charge.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not, for some people, it's not as scalable.
Sure.
To be that. So what decisions have you guys made in saying, hey, we're happy at this level or getting to this level, and we want to be the face and we want to be involved with all of the homeowners? Is that kind of the decision that was made then?
It was. It's a hard decision to make, because anybody that's done this, and the ones that have been very successful on scaling these companies, this industry is what I should say, it's tough to do. And there's a lot of, heartache on the way up to do that. You can definitely do it. But for what Preston and I and our goals, we finally sat down and said, we want to be the small mom and pop shop. We'll do really great. The industry needs it. Where we're at specifically, it needs that. It needs that feel. It needs that trust. And there will be a day where we can scale to be where, maybe we're a $20, $30 million company, right? But us being $5 million for us and our team, that's great. That is an incredible business model that we've got. And we went that route because that's what we're good at right now. There's always ways to learn and do moving forward on scaling, but we really think this is how we have to be set up, and you have to really get this concreted in so that when you scale, those processes and systems are in place for the guys coming in to make it simple. To answer one of your questions, I'm sorry to be long-winded on it, is,
that's all right.
Yes, you cannot deny the fact that we have a level up on being the owners at the sales table. But what we would always tell our sales guys is, like, I've been a salesman before, but every one of them should ask the question. So you own the company at the end of your conversation, because you know so much about it and you care so much about them that they feel like they're being taken care of by the owner. Because at the end of the day, it's your choice on whether you're going to take care of them or not. So you can make them feel that way.
Yeah, it is in the feeling for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said in that was what you're good at.
Sure.
Realizing what you're good at. How did you guys has it been something that you guys sit down and you're like, hey, we've realized I'm good at this, you're good at this, or we're both good at this, we need help with that.
Yeah.
How did that come together? And the self-actualization,
sure.
right? You are that, these are my strengths.
Yeah. We really, trial and error gave us a lot of those answers. Honestly, we've had great people come through this company. This industry will just make them want to do something else in itself. We've stayed friends with everybody that's been in this company, and they're doing great things outside of it. We didn't get hit too hard with the bug of them trying to start their own roofing company even because of the atmosphere. But yeah, trial and error for us. But I will say one thing, and Preston's really good about this, is he's always analyzing and crunching numbers. I'm more on the accounting side, but he's done a lot of big things in other industries. And even on his production side, he's so brilliant on looking at seeing production and saying, okay, we're kind of slow over here. We've done this over there. We have trial and error. And then honestly, we've gotten to the point where after the trial and error, now we run a lot of processes and analysis. And we talk about it quarterly, sometimes monthly, depending on how things are going. And you have to, especially if you're in a storm area that got kind of quiet for a couple of years. Now you got to go back to the drawing board and how to be a legit company without having a storm driving force.
Yeah. I depending on the market that you're in, right? Some markets, I mean, the contractors get reliant on the storms, right?
Sure.
But, there's been, it's been a couple of light seasons for a lot of these markets. The Front Range of Colorado, some like the Tulsa area, certain areas. Yeah. With the change to say, oh man, we better get our retail game in place, right? Like what did you put in place to and what changes did you make to put that side in place, to make sure that you make it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what it's about in those off years. You make it through the bad, those slower years, and then when those bad storms come through, there's, you are already a trusted company in the area, so it's who people call.
Right.
So what did you guys do? What was that? What did you do to change to a retail focus or add a retail focus to the business?
Sure. Well, and sorry for any realtors that are listening out here what I'm about to say, but whenever you're storm heavy, you're all about insurance agents and insurance companies send you business and just knowing that market. But then, whenever it was slow, one thing that wasn't slow is this real estate market. So then you're talking to a lot of realtor stuff, and there's a lot of roofers out here. This is the part that I was apologizing for, is they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with another realtor that might just send me out there for a bogus report. But, we have to vet our realtors too on this side. Not only we're also very big on making sure that the relationships are working. Not every lead's a good lead source. So for us, and I read a book called The Pumpkin Plan that actually talked about that. And, there's three types of customers. There's a good, a bad, and a non-existent customer. Well, that's the problem we have is like people put the bad customer in front of the non-existent customer. And honestly, it should really go in order of good customer, no customer, bad customer. So we really try to stay a part of that. And to say I ever read a book, there's people out there that's going to laugh and say, I didn't know he could read. But, that is one thing that we went into. But to answer your question on that is we got with banks too. So we have a lot of availability on financing, local financing, and then obviously we've used Green Sky. Again, Green Sky comes with a steeper fee than some other opportunities out there. But again, it's all about the product we want to provide. It's easy, it's simple to use, and it's not like we shotgun people's credit. Like when they apply for that, it's good to go. The last people we met at the IRE was Medallion Bank, and we made a relationship with them, and they're great for roofers. It's very much like Green Sky, but the dealer fees are much lower or in some cases non-existent. So we just, again, it's about relationships in everything you do in every industry. And it doesn't change with roofing. It's about who you're going to partner with in other areas. It's kept us going.
Yeah. And I think that is a key thing to think about if you're a storm restoration contractor and you have to make a change to retail, is financing.
Right.
Is something that you need strong financing in place, because who wants to buy a roof?
Right. Nobody.
First of all, right?
Yeah.
First of all, there's no one out there saving up like, oh my goodness, I can't wait till I buy this new roof.
Yeah.
No,
It's not a kitchen
and then
remodel.
on the other side of it, it's our, it's the, I guess it's the American way, right?
Yeah.
We don't, there's not a lot of savers in our world anymore. And so they need that roof, and they have to pay for it somehow. And financing is going to be the way to go.
That's right.
So that's a great that's a great insight there for someone that has to do that. I was just talking to a contractor down in Florida that, there's some law changes that are just happening there. And he's like, man, I'm going to have to add retail or get more retail focus. Kind of probably a similar thought process to you guys. Yeah. And that's, you got to make those changes. Right. You got to roll with the punches, right? Business is going to change. Skate. What's the Wayne Gretzky quote? Skate to where the puck is going. Right.
That's right.
You see, if you see the industry moving in a certain way. Yeah. So now all referral based.
Sure.
All referral based. That, that is the dream of everyone.
Right.
Is to be all referral based. Like no more spending money on Home Advisor, Angie's, telemarketing,
yes,
roofer marketers, right? There's no more of those darn marketers, giving them money. I like to say that you get referrals. I like to ask contractors, how do you get referrals?
Sure.
And in most cases, in my opinion, it's, you do work for someone and you do a good job and you take care of them.
Right.
You're also talking about some other relationships, insurance agents, real estate agents, but in that regard too, you're taking care of them so that their customer is taken care of, their client is taken care of. So that builds that relationship. Who else are you focused on in that relationship building?
Insurance is still, even with everything I say, insurance is still like the primary people that we've worked with, relationship wise. Realtors are there, but we are picky on those. And, so other relationships really, and I will tell you, like, we put our money into SEO. So like after the storms, died down, our SEO is really up there. We're like one of the top rated on the Google list, right? And, there's other guys that sneak up there and there's other guys that do it, and it's great. A lot of guys would honestly watch this and not believe me that we're referral based or just our Google phone calls on Facebook, but we really are. But you have to realize that if you are doing a good job, you're honestly, it's not hard to get referrals in this industry. If you're doing a good job, you're one of the few, right? And so it's how we put it. And there's a lot of great roofing companies. I'm not dogging the industry, but we all know
that's right.
the stigma. But it's homeowners still. It's hard. We do a couple of local stuff. We've done some local outreach and community-driven stuff. Our chamber here in Broken Arrow especially is phenomenal. We go to their events, we do things with them, and it's like a small town feel. They really refer you out here. So we're doing chamber events. We'll really find a program that we really believe in, and we'll give to that and like show our love in that direction to get business that way. But man, I would venture to say we get at least 2 to 3 referrals per customer after completion of job. So that is our biggest driver. It really is.
I always find that the contractors that are most successful are the ones that turn one into many.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the ones that just focus on the one-to-one. Hey, I got a lead and I'm trying to close this and I'm trying to get it done and collect my check and move on.
Right.
Those are the contractors that struggle.
They do.
They struggle.
That's right.
So now to get 2 to 3 referrals per closed job is amazing,
sure.
Right? So that every single time, right? Like this is going to turn into more.
Yeah.
My friend John Senick, John the Roof Pro, he was, in his selling for the year, he would knock doors until about May. Maybe into June, and then he'd work those referrals for the rest of the year and sell, $2 million, and it's that if you could get that process down, if you can nail that, you win. So let's talk about how to win, how to get those referrals.
Okay.
What is your process? What do you think the best way is to turn one job into an additional 2 or 3?
Okay. Honestly, ease from start to completion for the homeowner. So like if they call us out, they're calling the office. If they're not calling our direct line, if it's a referral from somebody that has our cell phone, of course, we're calling them back within 24 hours. I mean, we're probably calling them back same day, honestly, like every one of them. But if they call at 4:00 in the evening and we're running a gun and we're calling tomorrow morning, right? But she sets that up on the front end. So that communication's there. Then it leads to us, the sales guy, right? Or the sales team that we have. Then they're making the phone call, setting up the initial inspection within the first 48 hours. We're really big on that as well. So, and the adjuster appointments are the only thing that trump us having to ever reschedule anything. But, after we've sold we really talk about it, and we have other videos where we talk about we game plan with the homeowner. So depending on their situation, depending on their insurance company, buying, selling the home, staying there forever, whatever, we're talking about whether we're really filing a claim or not. We're not afraid to do repairs. I can't tell you how many repairs we've done that turn into full roofs 6 months later. And you got to be okay and not afraid to do the repairs. I wish I would have led with that, because that's honestly our biggest drive on referral based is coming in on the repairs and doing them. It might only be a $200 repair and I make $50, but it turns into a full roof later, whenever that's going to be. That's huge. And then I'll tell you, our production manager, Joe, he shows up at the job with our guys. It's huge that our guys have only worked for us all 10 years. It's amazing to have that in first case. And they speak pretty good English. So like the homeowners are talking to them, they're talking to Joe. He's going through the entire labor ticket, through the whole process with the homeowner, talks about any extras. So our crew does a cleanup. Joe schedules a cleanup as soon as the job's done. He does a walkthrough. And then I'm going back in 24 hours to do a walkthrough as well. And then that's where I pick up first payments or whatever. So, man, we've got that place looking good. We've done things, that have been in place to just make it smooth for them. They're writing the check and they'll get it done. There was no other questions asked. They didn't have to worry about when we're going to show up, when we're going to finish. So I really think it boils down to doing repairs and communication in the long-winded version of it.
And then, and that is I love the repair side. It blows me away how many contractors shy away from the repair side. There is such an opportunity there.
Sure.
Because, again, no one wants to buy a new roof.
No. That's right.
Right. And so, the average person is going to, they go to Google and type in roof repair. Yeah. Or if they do type in roofing company near me, they're looking for a repair.
That's right.
Because they don't, why would they want to write the big check when they can write the little check, right? There's a lot of situations like that. But now you're developing a relationship with them. It was easy. You did a good job. The place is cleaned up.
Yeah.
Beyond that, doing a good job, making it easy for them, being timely. You said timeliness, right? Yeah. So being, you're making these, you're setting appointments, you're doing inspections all in a very timely manner.
Yeah.
Beyond those, is there are you seeding the idea of a referral early in your sales process, or are you just waiting until the end on that final walkthrough like you're talking about and you're like, we did a good job, right? You know anyone else?
Yeah.
Right? Like, where are you asking? What point or points in the process are you asking?
Well, and here's where it'll make it really hard to believe us, but we never do. Now we have a bird's eye that we use that sends them the whole, hey, how did we do 5-star, 4-star, however, right? The review link. Yep. So that's huge. And then they are already sending that out to whether it be Facebook or Google or whatever, and then we'll get people that tag onto that. So we do have a system in place for that. And then because of your competition in your area, if you're doing a good job, they have a comparison. They've either had a roof done before, or they've talked to somebody, or the next door neighbors had 3 or 4 done. And, that really sells itself to where we've really been blessed to just have people being like, oh, you're getting a roof done, you have to go with this guy, or this company. And so it sounds cocky. It does not sound believable. I just can't BS it another way. Really, that's how it goes.
So you just do such a good job and make it as easy as, and they just turn.
Let me insert this. We've done a bad job, but since we come back and fix it, I think we've gotten more referrals off of coming back and fixing stuff because, like, I don't want it to seem like it's just a pipe dream over here. Like, oh my gosh, like we're going to screw up. We're going to break somebody's window. We're going to crush a flower. We might hurt that Japanese maple tree, you know. But yep. we pay up, and we show up and we fix all those things. I would say we get more referrals off of that than anything.
Mm-hmm. It's the way that you handle that bad situation, right? Yeah. That speaks volumes about your character and your company, right, which can easily translate into a high level of trust.
Right.
And then, because really when someone is referring someone, yeah, right, they're putting their name on the line.
Right.
Because if you do a bad job, they're going to be like, hey, Jim, you referred me to these guys and they did it,
right,
they messed this whole thing up.
Yeah.
So that's a good point, that if you have a culture of fixing any mistake that you make and taking care of it, what is a situation or a story that you could tell where it was like, man, this might have not even have been our fault, but we're going to take care of it anyway?
Sure.
Like, do you have any of those stories that you're like, yeah, we went above and beyond on this one?
Sure, man. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. We've got, we had one where, okay, I got to go. Okay, so we got one where, and then we did have a sales guy that sold this job, and he, out of nowhere, nobody was even thinking about it, but before he signed contract, he's like, yeah, you see those waves in the roof? That's from poor rafters. He's like, we'll fix those when we get up there. We'll let you know about it. He said, you see this wood rot on these fascia boards? He's like, we'll take care of that, when we see it, and we'll talk to you about that and everything else. Well, we do the roof. He never talks to him about the wood rot. He never sends him the photos of the rafter. And then, and they had missing rafters. That's why they had waves. They literally had missing rafters in these areas. The way the house was framed, there was a lot of waviness to it that even in the pre-photos you could see it. But my sales guy promised the world. And so, and we lost money on that deal. But I will tell you, and you could tell your people that want to talk to everybody, right? Like good or bad. So, but we went out there and we talked to them about like, you should have paid for this. And they're like, oh, 100%. But your sales guy said he would take care of it and all that. And you're like, okay. And I get that, and honestly, it's one of those deals where we went through and we fixed everything. And then I get involved at that point, right? So yeah. Then I did, and my business partner and I, we went and we did a full walkthrough on the whole roof and videoed the whole roof and showed the homeowner everything fixed. We showed them photos of the rafters, how they were missing before and how it's really not on us, but since we have poor communication, we're going to do it. There was really no fighting on that. We got a 5-star review after that. We shouldn't have, right? But, and then we have done 2 more of their family members since then. But it's always funny getting those referrals. We're like, hey, we heard you kind of screwed up this and that, but they said there was nobody else to go with because you fixed it. It's a hard one, but that would probably be the most memorable one.
Yeah. But that's a good story to tell, right? And for people to understand that if you take care of it, here's another part of that is, to me, is you have to have margins properly. You have to properly set your margins on your estimates so that when something comes up, and notice I said when, not if, right? It is, so you can't be the cheapest.
Right.
To be able to fix things. You may not make money on that job. You may lose a little bit, but then, hey, you got 2 family members from that. Now you had good experiences and were profitable on those jobs. And now, it's all through time that all evens out, and it makes a lot of sense. But then out of those 2 family members, they might have also referred you someone.
That's right.
Right. And then the chain just keeps on going and it gets really good. You did mention in there, you got a 5-star review from them.
Right.
So that's another part of it. You guys are one of the more highly reviewed companies in your area too. I think there maybe 1 or 2 other companies that even have, are close or have more. Sure. Right. and good, as good a rating with those types of things.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that has an impact, those Google reviews?
This year, especially.
Yeah.
I would say even more, maybe just since COVID, 2020, because everybody's at home and they got a lot more time to research. So they're reading everything, and so I would say in the past 4 months, I would say we get at least a lead or two a week based off of people saying, we found you on Google, your 5-star reviews were amazing. I want you to come out and take a look at my roof. So it's one of those deals where, and that's the biggest thing I think people find, which is good for you guys to say this, is give your SEO and your marketing guys time. You're not going to get there tomorrow. We've been in business for 5 years and we've seen a slow increase, but I'll say year 4 and 5 has been, now we're really seeing the SEO impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes time, and those reviews matter more than people think, because even if you are showing up, even if you do show up on Google, man, if you show up next to someone that has a better reputation than you, people just aren't going to call you.
Sure.
So it takes effort on the company side to make sure that, and that's one of the things that you can really focus on as a company, focus on those reviews, because it will have a major impact. And when people write you good reviews and they're saying, people read those.
Yeah, they do.
They trust reviews as much as a recommendation from a friend or family member.
Sure.
So, man, when you start getting into those hundreds of reviews, and they're, and they're all 5-star or mostly are 5-star, that makes a huge impact.
Right.
But that takes time.
Yeah, it does.
And that's a struggle. You guys are in the mid hundreds or something like that, 150 or 150, 170 reviews. And,
yes, sir.
And so, but how many customers have you had since you started in 2017?
Oh man, if I was shooting off from the hip, we're well over probably 1,000 to 1,500,
right?
And you're like, and you see your percentage of,
you get, that's what I'm going at there, is that you have to understand that there is a percentage here. You gotta do your best to get that review. Not everyone's going to leave one. But it takes time to build that up. Right. Yeah. So, you got to work on it. It is extremely important.
It does.
So you guys said you worked on the administrative side a lot, the production side, like having that assistance for you guys on the sales side, because you're doing most of the sales.
Yeah.
What were some of the key lessons along in building that side up?
I would say administration wasn't tough. We really got blessed with an office lady that just is, I showed her how to do AccuLinks one time. She took so many notes. I think she's teaching me stuff now. So, but on the production side, how is your production guy going to work with your crew leader? How do they communicate? What is he doing versus what are you doing? How is he going to relay information from him to either myself or the homeowner? And, there was a lot of those deals where you had too many chiefs trying to talk to one person. And so as painful as it is, because I'm very much if you text me, I want to reply to you and I want to fix it immediately. But it gets to a point where you almost have to hit the brakes and be like, did you ask Joe first? Did you, and you're talking crew wise and all that. So I'm going to tell you right now, AccuLinks has made things super simple. So I don't have anything extravagant to be like, well, that's why this guy's the way he is. Like, AccuLinks made it simple with their crew app, with the way it communicates with the homeowner's portfolio. The photos are in there, the communication's through there. We make sure we don't text anything. It's all through the AccuLinks, and it keeps the muddy out of the water.
Yeah, using technology for what it's for, right? Like the technology is there, whether you're using AccuLinks or Job Nimbus or Job Progress or utilize it. I was talking to another person recently that was like, man, it's Company Cam changed the game for us, because the ability for our team in the field to be able to take pictures and relay that straight to the production side, and everybody, or if they're out inspecting something and they're like, hey, I don't know about this, they can just send it right in. And, I think there's some functionality in AccuLinks that's very similar. And it's like those, that ability to communicate visually and, and in words, it's a big step. Yeah. Do you guys do anything special on, when you're doing the builds or anything on production day to kind of, generate more business from the neighborhood, or are you just, hey, we're doing a good job and hopefully they see it?
So we do door flyers to all the local neighbors. We've only had one customer get us on this, but it even says if we're making too much noise or we've added stress to your day, call us. We'll bring you a cup of coffee. And we did it. And there's not too far. That was just a month ago. We've been doing this for a while, but we do. We extend a hand to because we're going to have windy days. We'll extend a hand, and our door hanger says we expect that there might be, trash or debris in your backyard or whatever. Please let us come clean your yard. So that would probably be the most special thing. And the other than that is providing either breakfast or lunch to our crew. I can't stress how important it is to take care of your guys. I mean, they're the reason we get to do this anyways. So I know that's very kind of unorthodox on bringing new business, but if my guys are doing a good job and I'm keeping them fed and everything else and they're happy, that's huge. And I will say they're still subs. So we take care of subs, and we've used the same guys forever. 10 years I've worked with Gustavo and all the guys, but I would tell you have to take care of them.
That's a good point. A lot of times when they are a subcontractor, 1099, even a 1099 sales rep, right? Sometimes you can lean in a way that you're like, they're 1099. They're not a part of, but really they're a part of. Yeah. Right. They are sometimes the like you're saying, that's the foundation of what you're doing. So making sure that they're happy, they're doing a good job, and that relationship is built that you care. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They know you care. Yeah. Those are,
if you can't trust them, things. You can't trust your warranty. You just told the homeowner you had.
We'll let that one sink in, right? Yeah. Like that, and so that's a huge thing. Sure. So now, you guys are doing great reviews. You get, great referrals. What else do you find, that's helping you guys really, succeed with your business?
Sure. We've nailed a lot of it there. I would say that with Preston and I's business partnership, it has been phenomenal. We treat it like a marriage. So the owners are always talking, and we don't ever talk over each other. We really listen to each other and kind of see how things are going. We're always adapting to things, but everybody that goes with us, and it sounds very cliche, really feels like we're taking care of them like family. We have never read how to sell a roof book. We've never read how to do sales. I am from a small town in Sarcoxie, Missouri. Your word means everything. So we've just made it a pact that if we treat people right, the money will follow. We don't go into every job trying to price gouge, but we do, like you said earlier, going ahead and offering the hail resistant on every roof, setting up the more expensive systems and all that. It puts us in that higher price point so that we can sell at a higher price point to take care of those warranties. Because we always say we're priced to be able to take care of that warranty. We said that we would be able to provide you down the road. Again, all cliche and not maybe quite the direction we're going, but I just think the relationship we have as a whole family here between Victoria and Joe and Preston and I and the crew, it just feels right. So yeah, as cheesy as it is.
And I know a lot of people are afraid of partnerships in business, right? What has led to you guys having a healthy and successful partnership?
We really looked at each other and I said, I won't partner with anybody else but you. And he said the same thing. And I was like, if we do this, we have to look at each other and be like, would you marry me? Because like, that's what we're doing. I mean, he treats me like he would his wife. I treat him like I would my wife as far as communication goes. And there's funny jokes that come out of all that. But, we honestly, like, we really have the same goals in heart and mind. I don't know how many times that he's came to me and been like, we really need to be at this price point, but this person's going through this and this. We're going to be here. And I'm like, yeah, we need to do that. There's nothing I could say today to you that he wouldn't know that I would say if he was here or not. Like, I know that if somebody came to me and said, Preston said X, Y, Z, I'd be like, that's not true. Like, if it's in a negative connotation where like we are very close. And so when we made that play, and it's been 5 years and nothing has changed. So we wouldn't have done the partnership otherwise. And I think you have to really vet your partner. I mean, just like if you're going in to marry someone, you have to really vet that partnership. Don't do it for money.
And you guys dated at the last company anyway, right? You were dating at the last.
That's right, man. I'm telling you. I appreciate all the jokes that have come from all this.
One of the things you mentioned there was the same goals. Yeah. And I think that is very powerful for people to understand going into a partnership is that you have to want to end up at the same place. Yeah. Right. And that, in a marriage also, right. Yeah. You have to, and not that the down the road can't be adjusted and things can change and you guys can, discuss, where to go next or what to do next, things like that. Right. But then a level of respect, it sounds like you have also in that, right. You guys have a level of respect for each other that probably also adds to that, the ability to make the partnership work.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think the greatest insight is that you could share with our audience that has helped you guys find success in roofing?
We had read about this and we did it, and it was huge. Is we didn't write out a business plan. We wrote out a prosperity plan. So basically the eulogy of what we would want this company to look like if it ever died, right? So we split up. He wrote his eulogy or his prosperity plan, and I wrote mine. And we even read, like, it has to almost make you tear up if it's going to be a true prosperity plan, right? Like, what is going to be the focal point of this company? So we did that. When we got together, it was amazing how identical our prosperity plans were, with no pre-talk about it or nothing. So we're actually, in the talks that we talked about it, we're wanting to print it out and put it in our office and put our prosperity combined plan together. That's way more important than a business plan, because a business plan is just about building money and how you're going to invest to get there. The prosperity plan is what are you going to do as a person and as a company to change people's lives or be the mission field that this industry can definitely use.
That's awesome, man. Google prosperity plan and put one of those in place in your business. Yes. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast.
Great.
If you would like to generate more revenue for your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com to get a copy of the book, The Best Known Roofer. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. Thanks for listening.